If your last name is Dutch, there might be blood in it that traces straight back to the House of Orange-Nassau itself, not just its service, not just its loyalty, but its actual blood, passed down through sons the family openly recognized, even when those sons could never inherit the throne. Today we count down 6 Dutch surnames, and every single one of them descends directly from a Prince of Orange himself, through lines the house acknowledged, gave land to, and in some cases handed real power. One of these names once commanded the entire Dutch Navy before he turned 25. Another took a bullet meant for a Prince of Orange and lived to tell it. Watch for your own name. The last one on this list belonged to the man who spent years personally raising the boy who would become William III of England. Stay until the end. One quick note before we start. Every name on this list is illegitimate, meaning none of them were ever part of the official princely succession, and none were ever entitled to the throne itself. But illegitimate does not mean invented. Every child on this list was openly recognized by their father, given a title, land, and in most cases, real power inside the Dutch Republic. This is not distant, wishful nobility. This is blood the House of Orange-Nassau itself never denied. By the time we reach number 1, you may look at your own last name completely differently. Number 6. Lallec. Willem van Nassau-Lallec was one of 2 illegitimate sons Maurice, Prince of Orange, had with Margaretha van Mechelen, born around 1601. His father openly recognized him, giving him the surname Nassau-Lallec and the title Lord of De Lec. He joined the Dutch army fighting Spain in his 19th year and rose so fast that by the age of 24, he held the rank of Lieutenant Admiral of Holland and West Friesland, one of the most senior naval commands the Dutch Republic could give, taking over the post once held by his own uncle, Frederick Henry. Contemporaries knew him by the French nickname Chevalier de Nassau. This sounds like a footnote in Dutch naval history. It was actually one of the fastest promotions the Dutch Republic ever handed a nobleman, legitimate or not. He died young in 1627. Before he turned 27, his naval career cut short almost as fast as it began. It is blood, not succession. But if your name traces to Lallec, your bloodline once commanded the Dutch Navy at an age when most men were still junior officers. The next name belonged to the boy's own brother, and he turned down the very command Lallec had held. Number 5. Beverweerd. Lodewijk van Nassau-Beverweerd was Maurice's other illegitimate son, and the father of 2 more names further down this list. He carried the formal title First Noble of Holland, one of the most senior noble positions in the entire province, and worked closely alongside the Republican government of Johan de Witt, even while carrying the Nassau name into a political era that officially had no room for princes. In 1653, when the Dutch Republic urgently needed a new supreme commander for its navy, Beverweerd was the very first man the government approached for the post. He turned it down and recommended his fellow nobleman Van Wassenaer instead, a decision that shaped Dutch naval history for the following decade. It is blood, not succession. But if your name traces to Beverweerd, your bloodline went on to produce 2 more grandsons of a Prince of Orange in the next generation. The next name is one of those grandsons, and he turned a personal appointment into control of an entire province. Number 4. Odijk. Willem Adriaan van Nassau-Odijk was Beverweerd's son, and therefore an actual grandson of Maurice, Prince of Orange. As William III's second cousin, he was made the prince's personal representative in Zeeland in 1668 and built that position into near total control of the province, rebuilding his castle at Zeist in the style of Versailles itself, with the wealth it brought him. The title sounds administrative. Contemporaries described his actual rule over Zeeland as arbitrary and near tyrannical, built on selling the province's best-paying offices to whoever bid highest. He also stood alongside William Nassau de Zuylestein in a private early morning meeting at a Hague tavern in 1672, plotting against the De Witt brothers who stood against the House of Orange. It is blood, not succession. But if your name traces to Odijk, your family did not just work for the House of Orange-Nassau. You share its blood through his own grandson. Before we go further, if you want more of this, subscribe to Surname Ledger, because every week another bloodline gets pulled out of the archive with the record to prove it. The next 3 names on this list carry the house's blood more directly than anyone so far, and the last one personally raised its most famous prince. The next name is Odijk's own brother, and he did something no amount of land or title could buy. Number 3. Ouwerkerk. Hendrik van Nassau-Ouwerkerk was Beverweerd's other son, Odijk's own brother, and by blood a second cousin to William III. In 1678, at the Battle of Saint-Denis, a French officer had already leveled a pistol directly at William III's chest when Ouwerkerk shot the man out of his saddle before he could fire. William III never forgot it. Ouwerkerk followed the prince to England in 1688, became his master of the horse, living at a London townhouse that would later become part of 10 Downing Street, and rose in his final years to Field Marshal of the entire Dutch army, working alongside the Duke of Marlborough at Ramillies and Oudenarde. It is blood, not succession. But if your name traces to Ouwerkerk, your bloodline once stood between a Prince of Orange and a bullet. The next name does not trace back to a Prince of Orange. It traces back to the man who made the title exist in the first place. Number 2. Nassau. Before there was a House of Orange-Nassau to inherit, there was its founder, William the Silent, and one relationship the family never tried to hide. After the death of his first wife, William had a son by a commoner named Eva Ellings, and rather than deny the child, William officially recognized him as his own and took responsibility for his upbringing, naming him Justinus van Nassau. Justinus grew up inside the family's orbit and went on to become an admiral of the Dutch Republic in his own right, a career built on the name his father gave him. This is the oldest, most direct bloodline on this entire list, predating every other name here by at least one full generation. If your family traces to this line of Nassau, you carry the blood of the very man who founded the House of Orange-Nassau. And now, the last name. It does not just descend from the House of Orange-Nassau. It raised the man who made that house famous. Number 1. Zuylestein. In 1624, a year before he became Prince of Orange, Frederick Henry of Nassau had a son out of wedlock by a woman named Margaretha Katharina Bruins. That son, Frederick, was later given a castle and a title, Lord of Zeeland, and in 1659 was made governor and tutor of his own nephew, the young William III, the future King of England. The family he founded carried the Nassau name for generations and later became earls in England under the title Rochford, a line that continued for more than a century. An illegitimate line was never officially counted among the princes of Orange, and no herald in The Hague or London ever wrote it into the official record of the house. But if your name traces to Zeeland, your bloodline did not simply descend from the House of Orange-Nassau. It personally raised the man who would become its most famous prince. So look at your own name one more time. Lalek, who commanded the Dutch Navy before he turned 25. Beverweerd, who turned down that same command, and whose own 2 sons carried Maurice's blood into the next generation. Odijk, who built himself near total control of an entire province. Auverkerk, his own brother, who shot a bullet out of the air before it could kill a Prince of Orange. Nassau, the oldest bloodline of them all, tracing straight back to the founder of the house himself. And Zeeland, who did not just descend from the House of Orange-Nassau, but personally raised its most famous prince with his own hands. Every one of these 6 names carries real Orange-Nassau blood, openly recognized by the house itself, never denied, just never quite legitimate enough to sit on a throne. Your name is not just a name. It is a birth record someone chose not to hide. It is a title, a castle, a command handed to a son who could never be a prince. It is proof that blood ran further than any throne was ever willing to let it go. Drop your Dutch surname in the comments, and I'll tell you whether it has any known connection to the House of Orange-Nassau. And if you want the next bloodline decoded, the names and histories no one ever told you were yours, subscribe to Surname Ledger right now, because the story behind your name is far from finished. It is only the beginning.